Hi! Welcome to Wheels Up! My name is Sierra, and I'm so excited to take you on a super fun journey brought to you by the Sunrise Association, the Sunrise Studios, and our friends at American Airlines. While we're on our adventure, see if you can spot Wings, our special airplane friend who will show up in 3 different places. After our adventure, join us for crafts in our Sunrise VX Treehouse. And last, but certainly not least, we'll do a fun game of trivia with me, all about our adventure. Are you ready? Let's go! Fasten your seatbelts. Here to kick us off is a special representative from our friends at American Airlines.
Welcome, passengers. I'm American Airlines Flight Attendant Cheryl Crosley. Welcome on board our very special flight today with service from the Sunrise Association and American Airlines to the country of New Zealand. Our very first stop is Auckland. Buckle up, sit back, relax, and enjoy your flight.
Good day, adventurers! Today we are heading to a beautiful island country in the Southwest Pacific Ocean. Filled with roaring waterfalls, adorable wildlife, and amazing people who call it home. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's fasten our seatbelts for our American Airlines flight to Auckland, New Zealand. When you think of a country where people say "G'day," you might think of Australia. It's not surprising that New Zealanders say it too. Let's take a look at the map. New Zealand and Australia are neighbors, but Australia is much bigger. In fact, fun fact number 1, the entire country of New Zealand could fit inside Australia 29 times. Wow! New Zealand is made up of 2 main islands, the North Island and the South Island, and is the largest country that is a part of a big group of islands in the Pacific Ocean known as Polynesia. These islands are all very different, but share many pieces of their Polynesian culture. You might already know a little bit about Polynesia from the Disney movie Moana. Moana's island of Motunui is made up, but it's based on the real Polynesian islands. Polynesians, known as the Maori, were the first people to live in New Zealand hundreds of years ago. Remember the character Maui from Moana? Well, Maui is a hero in Maori folktales. Children in New Zealand grow up reading books about Maui by storyteller and illustrator Peter Gossage. These legends describe how Maui created night and day, brought fire to the world, and how he used a magic fishhook to catch and create New Zealand's North Island. How cool is that? Remember in the movie how Maui was covered in markings that told stories from his life? This is based on a Maui tradition that goes back thousands of years and is called Tamoko. The custom is a really cool way to express cultural heritage and personal identity. The Maori language is one of New Zealand's official languages. Fun fact number 2, the traditional way that Maori people greet each other is to rub noses. The population of New Zealand is made up of both the Maori and people of European descent. Fun fact number 3, no matter their heritage, people from New Zealand are often called Kiwis. No, not that kiwi. While the kiwi fruit grows in New Zealand and is one of the country's major crops, this popular nickname actually comes from New Zealand's kiwi bird. Have you ever seen this adorable bird? Oh, how cute! Look at its funny feathers. They kind of look like hair. And the kiwi is the only bird that has nostrils at the tip of its long beak. That unique, cool feature is very useful for sniffing worms and insects on the ground because even though they have wings, kiwi birds can't fly. Another amazing New Zealand bird is the tui. You can spot it by a white feathery puff on its neck. The New Zealand bird can fly and can also sing beautiful melodies. Keep your ears open. We might hear some tui melodies soon. So, what is it that Kiwis, the people, well, maybe the birds too, love about their country? For starters, Kiwis love New Zealand's incredible natural beauty, which includes snow-capped mountains that touch the sea, glistening lakes, long, flowing rivers and spectacular waterfalls. Ooh. Green pastures and forests, stretches of sandy beaches, massive white glaciers, and powerful volcanoes. Let's take a closer look. Many of the country's volcanoes are active, which means they've recently erupted or could erupt again. They are found on the North Island and include Mount Tongariro and Mount Ruapehu, which is New Zealand's biggest active volcano. People love to go hiking here. Would you like to hike on an active volcano? Whew! After that hike, it's time to relax. Have you ever heard of a hot spring? Hot springs are areas of water that are naturally warm because they are heated by the earth. Some hot springs erupt and send water and steam flying high into the air. When they do this, they're called a geyser. Porhutu is the largest geyser in New Zealand. In the Maori language, its name means big splash. That's a good name because this geyser can spray water 100 feet high. Wow, that's amazing! Ready for a wild and silly adventure? Let's experience New Zealand's hills and landscapes by, what's that? Rolling down them? Here, Zorb-Rotorua adventurers climb into a giant inflatable ball, also known as a Zorb, and roll up and down 4 slippery, slidey, sidewindy tracks. That's wild. Wow, I definitely need a break after that. But let's go check out one last incredible natural attraction. Glowworm caves. Sounds kind of gross, right? Actually, New Zealand glowworms aren't worms at all. They are larvae, or baby insects, that are bioluminescent. This means that their bodies produce a chemical that causes them to emit a blue-green light. Hundreds of thousands of glowworms line the dark walls and ceilings of New Zealand's ancient Waitomo glowworm caves. Gaze up and they form what looks like a starry night sky. Look how beautiful! New Zealand's stunning scenery was used in many fantasy adventure films. All 3 Lord of the Rings movies were filmed here, my personal favorites, as well as 3 Hobbit movies, A Wrinkle in Time, Pete's Dragon, Bridge to Terabithia, and The Chronicles of Narnia. Ever wanted to live like Frodo? Take a tour of the sheep farm that was used to create Hobbiton and see the home of a hobbit up close. Or head north to the Coromandel coast to find the tunnel that Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy go into before returning to Narnia. This dreamy-looking area where the movie was filmed is on the east side of the North Island and is a top vacation spot, known for its incredible beaches. Porhutu karwa trees line the Coromandel coast. They are known as New Zealand Christmas trees because they flower around the holiday when it's warm. Fun fact number 4, because of its location on Earth, seasons in New Zealand are opposite to seasons in the US. How cool is that? I wonder what it's like to live in New Zealand. Lucky for us, our 3-year-old friend Evie lives here on her family's cattle farm. Let's go meet her.
Hold on, Evie. I'm Freya. I live on a big farm. Hi, mine. I got pit cow. Hi, cow. We got pizza shake. My mother, my horse. I like climbing trees. This is a hectic cow. I like the fish ball. Read the eels. Another one. He's stuck. And go fishing. I am living in the beach. This special Papa trying to explore my cousins. There's a couple mangoes. Do you like sailing? Hi, Nina.
Many New Zealanders love to do the things that Evie does. Another thing they love that Evie didn't tell us about is rugby. In this sport, two teams carry or kick an oval ball to score points. New Zealand's national rugby team is called the All Blacks, and the players' uniforms are just that. The team loves to incorporate their Polynesian roots by performing a traditional Maori war dance called a haka before rugby matches. Haka show a group's pride and strength and are a tradition across New Zealand. Kids even learn hakas in school. Remember the cows and the heaps of sheep we saw in Evie's video? Would you believe that in New Zealand there are more sheep than people? Yeah! With all those sheep and cows, it's not surprising that New Zealand is one of the world's top producers for milk and wool. And if you've got milk, make ice cream. Fun fact number 5, New Zealand leads the world in the most ice cream eaten per person. Vanilla is the favorite flavor, followed by Hokey Pokey, which mixes in pieces of toffee. Yum! Another popular sweet treat is pavlova. This dessert has a meringue base, is filled with fruit, and topped with whipped cream. Total yum! On that yummy note, we've got a flight to catch. Time to board our American Airlines flight and head home for crafts in the Sunrise VX Treehouse. Wow, that was such an incredible adventure! Did you have a chance to see wings? You did! Here are the 3 different times where we spot wings. Great job! Well, come on, we have another adventure where we're gonna go crafting in our Sunrise VX Treehouse. Let's go!
Hi friends, I'm Tori and I'm so excited to do arts and crafts with you today. Since we traveled to New Zealand, we're going to do 2 crafts, a sheep craft and a volcano craft.
Project 1, Finger Puppet Sheep. Construction paper, 2 sheets, 1 white and 1 black. White cotton balls or white yarn. Optional, googly eyes, scissors, white crayon, and glue. Project 2, a volcano. Construction paper, 2 sheets, 1 brown, 1 any color. Tissue paper, yellow, red, orange, white. Scissors, markers, crayons, or colored pencils, and glue.
Let's start with our sheep. I'm going to start with a black sheet of paper for my sheep's head. I'm going to draw a circle for the head, but let's make this not the full size of the paper so we still have room for the ears. So I have my circle. I'm going to grab a pair of scissors and cut it out. So I have my circle, and now I'm going to draw 2 ears. To make them both symmetrical or the same size, I'm going to fold my piece of paper in half, like so. And then I can use a crayon or a pencil or anything that'll show up on your paper to draw the shape of my ears. It's like a little curve. And then we'll just attach it to the other side. Sort of like a raindrop. So I'm going to cut these both out at the same time. Just make sure your papers are together so that they don't move around. Cut that out. Perfect. So now I have 2 ears for my sheep's head. I'm going to attach it on the top of the head. Any direction is fine. And I'm going to use my glue stick and just put a little bit on the top of both sides, just so it sticks in place. Perfect. So now I'm going to make some eyes and a smile for my sheep because it is so happy. Oh, those are different sizes. Let's try to get two the same size. If you don't have googly eyes, that's totally fine because you can just draw them. Let's use my glue stick again. There. One here is good. And then I'm going to make a smile because my sheep is pretty happy. That looks nice. And now I'm going to create the body for my sheep because what's a sheep without its body? I'm gonna make it about the same size, so I'm just gonna eyeball it. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. Your sheep can be any size, doesn't have to be this big. And I'm just gonna glue it right onto the body. Something cool that I found out about sheep is that in New Zealand, there are so many sheep that there's basically like 6 sheep for every 1 person. Like, that's crazy. Okay, so now I have the body attached to my head, and I'm gonna use cotton balls to make like fur for the sheep. So I have my cotton ball, I'm just gonna like fluff it up a little bit. If you don't have cotton balls, that's totally fine because you could also use tissue paper or you could use regular paper, crumble it up maybe. That looks nice. I'll put it like around its neck. And I'm just gonna use my glue stick again to do this. Just do a nice line and stick right down. And maybe I'll put a little more like by its head. Just separate that. I don't know if you've ever seen a sheep in real life, but I have, and they're actually super friendly. Actually, some scientists say that sheep have friends just like we do. I thought that was pretty cool. Now, my sheep looks pretty good, but I feel like we need something a little extra to make it more fun. So what I'm going to do is make it into a puppet. So I'm going to fold my paper just a little bit, and we're gonna make 2 circles, like here and here. So I'll fold my paper so we could have 2 circles. And I'm just going to cut like 2 semicircles out. And when we open the paper back up, it'll be 2 holes for our fingers to go in. So that's 1. And then I'll do 2. Perfect. So this is my sheep craft. We could use it as a puppet, which is super fun. And that concludes our sheep craft. Come on to do the next one with me. So our second craft is a 3D volcano. We're going to start with a brown piece of paper, but if you don't have brown, maybe you have white and some brown crayons or markers or paint that you can use. So I'm going to start with my paper and I'm going to cut out a circle. Now we don't need to draw it out yet because we'll just free draw. We'll make it as circle as we can, but if it's not perfect, that's okay. We'll try to use the entire piece of paper so our volcano is as large as it can be. Okay. To make it 3D, we need to cut a line from the center of our circle out to the edge. So I'm going to do that now. Don't go all the way through, just to the center. Okay. And to make it 3D, we're going to put our finger to the top from underneath and just kind of spiral it into a cone. So now it's 3D. Cool. But before we put it together, let's decorate. I'm going to start with a red crayon to make some lava. And I'm just going to do like a swirl, kind of like what a paint spotter would look like from the top. And then I'll color that in. And if your volcano doesn't look quite like mine, that's totally okay because all volcanoes are different. There are different shapes, different sizes, and different colors. So the better it is if it's unique. that I finished that up, I think it's ready to put it together. So like before, we're going to twist the ends over to the top. You could put your finger in it if you need it to lift up a little bit more. And then I'm going to use glue, but you could use tape or a staple or anything to really keep it together. So just put a little glue on here, like a little line, whatever, and stick it in place. So now my volcano is ready to be decorated even more. I have tissue paper squares, so I could scrumble it up and make it look like the volcano is exploding. But maybe if you don't have tissue paper, you have colored paper, or you can color paper to do it with some paints and markers. So I just crumbled up a tissue square, and I'm going to use my glue stick again, and just glue on little spots so that my tissue paper can stick to. I'm going to use like orange, because I think that's what volcano looks like, but I've never seen it. So if yours is a different color, that's super cool. So maybe some white I'll add to it, like a big explosion. Maybe 2 more pieces I think should be good. If it comes apart, you could just put more tape or glue or anything to stick it in place. Art is all about problem solving, so if it's not perfect the first time, keep trying. You could even put the glue on the tissue paper if that's easier for you and just stick it right on. And that's my volcano, 3-dimensional with explosions. I hope you liked it. So this is my shape, and this is my volcano craft. I'm Tori from the VX Treehouse, and I hope you had a great time with me. See you next time. Bye.
Wow! We had such a blast crafting with you today. Well, get ready, because we're coming in for our final destination, an exciting trivia game, where you'll get to have more fun with trivia questions about our adventure today. I'm gonna ask you 10 questions. Each question has 4 answers, but only 1 answer is correct. Can you figure it out? Well, come on, let's play. Question 1. New Zealand is A, an island, B, a country, C, in the Southwest Pacific Ocean, or D, all of the above. Of many talents, New Zealand is all of the above. Question 2. New Zealand is made up of 2 main A, volcanoes, B, sheep farms, C, islands, or D, movie theaters. If you guessed islands, you were correct. Question 3. The first people to live in New Zealand were A, Maori, B, Europeans, C, Americans, or D, Disney characters. Do you remember? Great job! A is the correct answer. Question number 4. The nickname for New Zealanders comes from A, green fruit, B, flightless bird, C, fierce rugby team, or D, yummy ice cream flavor. Whew, this is a tough one. But if you remember, it comes from a flightless bird. Question 5. An active volcano is one that A, will never erupt again, B, will probably not erupt again, C, erupted recently or could erupt again, or D, likes to get a lot of exercise. Get it? Okay, you get it. Question 6. When hot springs erupt, they are called A, glaciers, B, geysers, C, volcanoes? Or D, silly names? Okay, were you paying attention for this one? Because geysers is correct. Question 7. At Zorb Rotorua, visitors explore landscapes in giant inflatable A, hockey sticks, B, rafts, C, swimming pools, or D, balls. Well, all of these are pretty silly. Funny enough, balls is the correct answer. How much fun! Question 8. Glowworms are A, worms, B, baby insects, C, baby birds, or D, not found in New Zealand. Okay, this is tricky. Baby insects, called larvae. Question 9. All of the following movies were filmed in New Zealand except A, A Wrinkle in Time, B, Pete's Dragon, C, Harry Potter, or D, Lord of the Rings, my personal favorite. Harry Potter was not filmed in New Zealand, but all of these movies are awesome. And our final question, number 10. Fill in the blank. New Zealand has more blank than people. A, folktales, B, ice cream flavors, C, seasons, or D, sheep. This was a fun fact. Sheep! They outnumber people almost 6-1. Wow, you did such an awesome job with trivia today. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Wheels Up. Did you know that there are more adventures of Wheels Up available for you? Oh yeah! Just head to our YouTube channel, or you can download our Sunrise Studios app, which is available on iOS or Android, Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. And thank you so much to the Sunrise Studios, Sunrise Association, and the wonderful American Airlines. We'll see you next time!